Is this
It looks like you lost another one.
Welcome to a very special edition of Summer Showcase. I'm Michael Washington here on Shady Sports Network, and I got a very special guest with me today. Newly announced Paris Musketeer quarterback Jaylon Henderson. Jaylon, I cut you off there. My bad on the video, man. Were you getting ready to ask? You all set with it? Okay.
yeah, all
But
good.
my bad for cutting you off. But I got Jaylon
Mhm.
Henderson with me, and Jaylon, first and foremost, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule because I'm sure it's been a whirlwind and hectic over the last couple months or so to sit down with me for about 25 minutes or so to hopefully bring a little bit of foresight into what you're going to be bringing into the league this year at the European League of Football. And secondly, thank you so much again for joining. And how you doing, man? How you doing?
Hey, Michael, I appreciate you bringing me on today. Super excited for what's to come. Definitely been working hard in this off season and preparing myself for what's to come. And now that I know what's about to come, I'm excited for it. So I appreciate you having me on today, man.
Yeah, man. Like I said to you off air, like a lot of people are excited about this. There's a lot of talk. You've been tearing it up in the GFL for a couple of years now, like lit up the GFL with statisticals and stuff. And I always like to ask the American quarterbacks that come onto the show, how how did you get overseas? Like what was the process there for you, and what's that been like? Because I'm sure, like, I talked to Kyle Kitchens, who defensive player of the year in the ELF a couple times, and he said it was just like a whirlwind of just everything kind of happened fast and culture shocks and all that stuff. How was it for you?
Michael, that's a great question. For me, it started off in Japan. And at the time I was playing for the Nighthawks, and they're
Hmm.
an arena team in Las Vegas, and
Yep.
I was playing for them. I played about 4 games and had a buddy who was living in Las Vegas at the time, who came to my game, who was my ex-college teammate, but he's in the CFL now, and he also plays in Japan. Well, he came to my game and was like, "Hey, Jay, we should come play in Japan." And I'm like, "Brother, I'm a starter here in Vegas. Like I'm living the life. I'm having a good time. I'm not leaving." And he was like, "Bro, just try it. Like, give me a shot." And then, yeah, long story short, I mean, I ended up after game 4 of Arena, ended up having to do what was best for me at the time, and that
Mm.
was to go to Japan. And so I went to Japan. Definitely was a culture shock for me. Um, there's not too much to go deeper into that. Yeah, it was for
Yeah.
sure a culture shock. I mean, because you know that we're coming off of it was end of 22, so we're coming off of COVID,
Hmm.
and of course Japan they still have strict COVID restrictions.
Yeah.
And so, like, there were no foreigners there. If you were a foreigner, you had to be there on visa. So, you know, that was that. But anyways, long story short, my buddy, he was pretty much just like, "Hey, come out to Japan, come play for us." And after game 4, I sat down with my family and I figured out, hey, Japan's the place to go. So I went and played there, spent a season there, and then the past 2 years being in Europe, Japan is 14 to 16 hour time zone difference from
Yeah.
here in America. But Europe is only 7 hours, so it's like for me, it was like, oh, at least I could still see the same sky that my people in America
Mm.
see, and we could at least talk and be somewhat on the same time. Like it felt like piece of cake, honestly. So that's pretty much how I got out overseas. After Japan, I was sort of done with playing overseas, and then my coach in Potsdam, he was just very persistent with me, and ended up to get me to go out there and play in Potsdam. So yeah, pretty unique story, but I'm happy. I'm happy for it.
love seeing these indoor and arena guys, get outdoors, man. Because I know that as much fun as the IFL is, and like you said, you were having fun with the Nighthawks and stuff. I know that a lot of players like to talk about trying to get back outdoors and play some ball and whatnot. So it's cool to see that story, and it's nice to see a success story. Moving from the
Yeah,
indoor and arena league to outdoors. And I'm going to say you're a success. I mean, I know a lot of people don't still are still trying to figure out what the ELF is. It's only in its 5th year and whatnot. But I got to ask you, man, how excited are you about playing with Coach Jack Del Rio, man?
yeah, man. I'm fired up. For me, that was a big decision maker for me. Whenever I saw that they brought in Coach Del Rio, for me that was really big just because I know, what he could potentially bring to the table. I mean, NFL veteran head coach. There's only the sky is the limit for what he could bring as far as knowledge, connections, and just his IQ to Paris and to those guys to the franchise that they have there. So definitely really fired up about that, and super excited. I've been talking with his son Luke pretty much every day, and getting familiar with the playbook, and getting things going so that whenever I get there, we can hit the ground running. So
Yeah, for no doubt. And I think in the sense of like the ELF and how it's concerned, I mean, we know that there's been guys with the NFL ties that have been over there. Jim Tom Sula has had huge success over there with Ryan and whatnot. But I feel like this is one of the bigger names that has come into the ELF with NFL roots. And as an American quarterback, like it's seeing a name like that, like you said, it's got to be, it definitely has to be some kind of excitement inside you that you guys can do big things with this team, because it is a team that made the playoffs last year.
yep,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I mean that's awesome as well to see in that sense, as well. So, Jaylon, what are expectations for yourself, my man, in this league? I mean, I know obviously a lot of people come in and want to talk about, they're going to light up the league, or they want to be successful, but with a little bit of the change, do you think it's going to be a huge like shift in philosophies and whatnot coming from the German league to the ELF, especially in being in France?
Well, Michael, that's a great question as well. For me, I feel like my expectations, given that, I've been in Europe 2 years and have never not played in a championship since I've been in
Love it.
professional sports. You know, my expectations are pretty high, and I prepare myself, and us as a team as well. We're gonna all prepare so that we can go and compete and play in the biggest stage and play in the biggest games. Is it going to be easy? Absolutely not. I mean, I know you've probably seen we have one of the toughest schedules in the entire
Oh yeah,
league.
definitely tough.
Um, but for us, for me, I am embracing the challenge. That definitely very well looking forward to it. And with a coach like Coach Del Rio and the staff that he's put together, and Jason, Coach Book, the entire organization that they've put together, I think that we've got all of the right pieces in the right spot to go and be as effective as possible. So it'd be pretty exciting that first game. I know it's probably going to have a lot of hype around it. We play Rain Fire first game.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but my first game in Germany in 23 played against Schwäbisch Hall Unicorns at Schwäbisch Hall, and apparently they hadn't lost a game at home in 9 years, and they had just won the championship previous before. And it was a big statement game for me. No name in Europe,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
sort of was able to build a little name for myself from there. So, similar situation. First game, new league, playing against the big dogs. From experience, for me, I just have to, keep myself prepared, prepare like a professional, and be ready to go for when that time comes. I'm excited for it though.
Now that Unicorns game, did you guys end up winning? Because I did not know that was your first. Did you guys win that game?
Yes, sir. Yep,
Yes. Yeah.
we
Okay.
went in. We went in. So the week before they played in the CEFL, which is like another European league,
Yep. Yep.
and they
Central
barely
European
lost
Football
to a
League. Yeah.
team called the Mean Machines, and so I was kind of happy because I wanted to be the team to go and beat them.
Right, no
So
doubt.
yeah, we went in. Of course, it was a nail biter, tough game, but I think we were able to pull it out by like 2 or 3 touchdowns. But for me, that was a big statement game, and
Yeah.
big hype game. I obviously didn't know the magnitude of it just coming to Europe, so I'm just it's another game for me. But since I've been in Europe now, I know the magnitude of the Paris Rhine Fire game, and I'm sure you've seen all the guys that are hyping it up. Oh,
Oh
Jalen's
yeah.
coming, dude. For me, I just feel like I'm a normal person, bro. I'm just like, bro, I just want to go and play football. To be honest, like it doesn't matter who it is, but I'm excited for it.
I
I'm really excited for it.
love that attitude, man. And I was gonna ask. I think I know what the answer is now. I was gonna ask because I'm sure that game against the Unicorns, there was a lot of learning involved in that game as well. But you didn't really have the pressure because you were unaware of what the magnitude was. In this situation, I was going to ask if it added any extra pressure, but you kind of answered that question with just your mentality as a whole. I'm
Yeah.
assuming there's no added extra pressure for you in this situation, is there? Or?
I mean, sorry about that.
No,
For
you're
me,
good.
man, I have learned over my years of playing football, especially playing, at Boise, for the like you can't go there and not do your job to the best of your ability. So
Yeah.
what I mean by that is if you go there and you're stinking it up, the fans are going to let you know, like, hey, get it together. Your coach is not going to put you on the field unless you're ready to play. And so, what is my reasoning for saying that? For me, I've learned to accept the pressure, to embrace, wow, I get to have this pressure on me. I get to have
Yeah.
the entire city, the entire fate of the team is right here in my hands. I love that feeling. I absolutely love it. And so, what I do is I, just make sure that I prepare. I prepare really, really well so that I can alleviate the nerves and the feelings and the pressure as much as possible.
Hell
The,
yeah.
the
Okay.
better prepared that I feel, the more confident that I feel going into the game, the more relaxed I can be, and it overall just declines the pressure for me. So, is there pressure? Absolutely. I mean, I'm a human, right? I still
Yeah.
feel hell. I feel pressure going into practice at games because I'm a perfectionist. I like everything to work how it's supposed to work, and I'm a I get nervous whenever I'm about to go to practice. I'm like feeling it in my stomach, like,
Nice. I
oh
like
shoot,
that.
here we go. Like, I'm a human, it happens. But I embrace it and I learn to love it. So
Nice.
good
Nice.
question.
My awesome colleague and fellow Mainer Jamal Clay is on with us as well. He said what's
Oh,
up to
okay.
you, by
What's
the
up,
way.
Jamal? How you doing,
That's
brother?
that's Athletes Forum right there. Make sure you guys
Yeah,
go follow his podcast as well. The dude is fantastic, bringing ELF content as well. And Jaylon, coming into Paris, Zach Edwards was there. He was considered a European legend for a long time. He was one of the most prolific quarterbacks in the ELF for years. You come into a situation where you get Jack Del Rio, who's probably the most prolific head coach, coming in with a situation in a team that they made the playoffs last year. The offense was kind of, inconsistent for most of the years and most of the season last year. I'm sure that you guys are also going to be looking at a lot of stability this year with this offense as well, because you guys are going to probably want more consistency across the board than what you guys put up or what you weren't there last year, but what they put up last year as well. Has that been a big emphasis point that Coach Del Rio and you have spoken about in any conversations that you guys may have had?
absolutely. First off, shout out to Zach. I don't know him personally,
Mm,
but I've watched a lot of film on him. Highly respect his game. It's unfortunate that he's unable to play in Paris this year, and
mm,
I wish him the best. So, shouts out to him and endless respect for him. For this season, our goal is to win as many games as we can win, of course, and get better every single time, every single
mm.
day. Get 1% better, get as much better as we can. Are we going to be perfect in that first game? Are we going to be perfect in our sixth game? Absolutely not. But by the time we get to the championship, that's when we need to be. Let's be our best. Let's be perfect. Let's hope that all this work that we put in the entire season has led us to this spot. So how do we get there where it starts up front, right?
Mm.
Making sure that we keep our guys healthy in the trenches. We've got our big guys on offense and defense, strong guys down there in the trenches. And then you move to our secondary, to our receivers, guys that are very, very talented. We've got talented, super talented receiver core, super talented tight end core, running backs, and then it comes down to the execution aspect of it. How well can we do our stuff correct? So we're getting everything going together. But our ultimate goal is, score points, win games, play fast as well. So
Question to ask you. I have not seen it. I may have missed it. I've been trying to do my best to keep up with it. Fellow American import, a wide receiver, I'm assuming. Who did you guys bring in?
Austin Mitchell.
Oh, yes. Okay. That's right. Austin Mitchell. He was there last year. That's right.
Yep.
Yes, that's right. Okay. I remember seeing it now. With space in my mind, I was trying to figure it out, and I couldn't think of his name. Are you excited have you played with him before, first and foremost? And
I played against him.
You played against him? Okay. All right.
Yes. My only loss that I've ever had in Europe was against his team. So I'm glad he's on my team now, though. I'm happy.
He's dynamic too.
He's a dog. He's going to be able to help our offense do some great things this season, and so we're very excited about that.
Man, that makes me excited now. I completely forgot that they re-signed him. Man, that's awesome to see you and Austin out there. Is going to be wonderful. And you said you only had one loss in Europe. Is that what you said? Your only loss?
Yes, sir. Yep. Record is 29-1, and that one loss is to Austin Mitchell and Stephen Duncan.
And Stephen Duncan, Stephen Duncan.
Steve's a dog too. Steve, I know he didn't do much in the ELF, but
big arm,
very
big
good
arm,
evaluator of quarterbacks. He can do it. He can make every throw that every quarterback should be able to make. So.
What was your record in Japan?
Japan, I lost one game. That was in the championship, so I went 8-1 or 7-1. You only play 5-game regular season. And then Germany, I went 29-1. So I've lost 2 games in my professional career. And one was regular season, which was still eats me up. And then the other was in the championship.
Gonna have to change your first name to Championships. We're gonna have to change it to right there.
Hey man, I don't like losing. I don't like losing, and so I try to. I have this little voice in my head that tells me like, if I work the hardest, then nobody can beat me. And so what I try to do is just, I might overwork myself, but just as long as I can be the best here mentally, I can get by, and don't have to be the fastest guy ever. As long as I can be here mentally and get the ball where it needs to be on time and accurately, and understand what everybody's doing before they know what I'm doing, makes it a world's difference for me. So.
Yeah, I'm here with Jaylon Henderson, the newest quarterback of the Paris Musketeers of the ELF. Summer Showcase will be back this year to cover the ELF, so I'm hoping, Jaylon, that I'm going to have a ton of things to talk about with your squad and you and your play over there, and hopefully you and Austin Mitchell can do some big things. Big tough matchup in Week 1 against the Rhine Fire, defending 2-time champs back to back on that one. Rhine Fire, man, it's going to be a big game. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch for sure, without a doubt. Jaylon is when are you heading back overseas, by the way? When does camp start for you guys over there?
So I believe it's in April. I'll head there end of March, and so have about 2.5, 3 more weeks here, and I'll be getting ready to go.
I'm assuming your practice schedule is probably going to stay the same with the GLF as it is the ELF or GFL. ELF.
I think we practice at night. We did in GFL, but I think we practice even later in Paris.
John Lewis Sports, thank you for joining in with us as well. He says, love the positivity from Jaylon. Easy to pull for this guy to do big things. Absolutely. I completely agree. Attitude's fantastic, man.
I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it.
You got a pretty good following for an for an American quarterback playing in Europe. From what I've seen, you got a lot of people rooting for you and cheering for you. I mean, that success, man, has got to feel good for everything that you've put in, all the grinding that you've done, man. Like I said, indoor football to outdoor overseas. I mean, it must feel good on a personal level for you to have that. To have that support from people, right, man? I would imagine.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's for me, it definitely does not go unnoticed for me. I really, really do appreciate it. I've been through a lot of adversity, football wise,
Mm,
and you know, it's just hitting me now today why not and today as in like today's an age. It's
yeah.
hitting me now why I went through all of this stuff,
Mm,
where I didn't know before. And, I'm just so thankful for it and so blessed by it. And, I just continue to try to, take one step in front of the other every single day and do the best that I can and, not let people down. So
yeah, we got a question. It looks like. Well, first and foremost, Jamal wanted to make sure that he was reminding you of the first four games, just in case you forgot. Uh, against the looks like it says Rhine, Stuttgart, Frankfurt, and then the Rhine Fire again. That's definitely a tough schedule to start off with. But he did ask, is Luke Del Rio going to be your offensive coordinator? I'm going to assume that was a yes because you said you were in contact with him earlier.
I don't know if that information is out. That's just who I've been communicating with.
Communicate with. Okay.
Not sure if that's his exact role or what, but yeah, man. I've got the entire schedule pinned in. I wake up and I look at it every single day, and I remind myself like, all right, here we go, baby. Here
There
we
you go.
go. I'm excited for it. Honestly, I don't think I would want any other way. I could have gone to a few other teams and some of those teams, historically better, some of those teams historically worse. And I think for my situation, what I've got going on, and sort of the name that I've built for myself, I wouldn't want any other challenge moving
Yeah.
forward with than our schedule that we have. And so, will it be easy? Absolutely not. Um, and will there be mistakes that are made? Absolutely. Like I'm human.
No. Yeah.
Um, but I'm excited for it, and I'm hoping to have fun, and give the fans a show. So
I got to ask this question just because I always like to ask it. And I mean, to you, it may not matter, but you play the Fire twice in the first four games, which is going to be awesome to see. And it's going to definitely set the tone for the rest of the year between what we assume will be two of the top teams in the league. Now, you have a championship mentality. You have already said, we're going to get to the championship. Who would you like to play in the championship if you had to pick?
if I had to
Or,
pick,
or does it matter?
to be honest, it doesn't matter. But I think it's only right that you either play, the team that has been there. So I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter who we play, but I could see us playing one of the top 4 or 5 teams.
Yeah.
You know, I have a few buddies on the Copenhagen team that we've been chirping back and forth.
Yeah, the
And they're
Nordic
not on our
Storm.
schedule, so it would be cool to see them. It would be cool to see Rainfire. It would be cool to see Madrid. It would be cool to see Stuttgart. Have a lot of respect for Coach Newman over there, and
Yeah.
same thing with Coach Shoop over at Copenhagen. So,
Yeah.
it'd be cool to see anybody. But at first, like I said, we just gotta go into game one. Number one, we've got to go into camp. We've got to find our chemistry together, find
Yeah, for sure.
our identity as a team, and then go from there. We can't listen to the outside noise right now. There's a lot of noise coming in. Um, you know, I hope, none of our guys are listening to that. I hope, that they understand that it's just noise. And for me, there's a lot of noise surrounding me. I'll be the first to tell you, I've done absolutely nothing in the ELF. So, it is what it is. Like, whatever I did in the past for me, like, that might be cool or whatever, but it doesn't matter. The past has, what has the past done for me? Like, it's given me somewhat of a name, but at the same time, like, cool, that's already happened. What's next? What's
Yeah.
moving next? And so, yeah, I mean, I'm coming in with a chip on my shoulder and feeling like I have something to prove. Big underdog mentality, and I just want to build chemistry with my guys, learn their stories, build
Mhm.
relationships with them, honestly, and go from there. So
Well, it definitely sounds like Paris made the right choice to put a leader. So you're going to put the Musketeers on your back for sure. What about individual? Any individual goals that you have, or do you just not set individuals and just look at it from a team perspective?
I am individually, I have a I have a little voice in my head that's a competitive voice. It's like I want to be the best.
Oh yeah, for
I want
sure.
to see my name at the top of every single leaderboard there is. Hell, I want to be the tackles leader. Like I want to be the best at everything. So,
No doubt.
just being up there at least in the best statistically. But I just I want to go to Paris and I want to make it a better place than what it already is. But I want to leave an impact there that I left in Potsdam, and be a great person to people around, and build relationships. So
Yeah, I love hearing that, man. And Paris, they're only entering their third year of existence, so you're going to definitely get a chance to be able to leave an impression and an impact on that franchise as they continue forward. In the ELF for sure. Already had some success now with you under center or you in the shotgun, whichever way you prefer it. There's a good chance that they can finally reach that next step without
yeah.
a doubt. It looks like Jamal has says Paris, Vikings 2 times a year too, and then he said go easy on Helvetic, bro. We're friends. For sure.
Yeah,
And
man,
then
we got some tough games. We'll see Ben Holmes twice. That'll be we'll see him at our house and we'll see him in Vienna. So tough game for sure. Then we got Rainfire twice, of course, and we got Stuttgart Surge, who virtually didn't lose anybody minus a few guys in the secondary.
yeah,
And Coach Newman, Riley Hennessy, they've been together for a lot of years. I think, in my opinion, I thought that they were going to win it all last year. Very, very great coach team. Lewis Geyer, he's got the combine coming up, but another phenomenal athlete. And then I can't even begin to name all the stars that they have over at Vienna. Like you got
the end of
Holmes,
the
yeah.
every
Then you
year,
just
man.
got yeah. It's that they're going to be a tough team for sure. And great guys, but it's good competition. It's what I
Very good
want,
competition.
and
Yeah.
it's what I think will be the best for the league too. Like
Yeah.
it's not your only one team is the big dog anymore, or like the big dogs don't play each other to the playoffs. We're seeing each other early in the season now,
Yep.
right? That's good for the league, good publicity. You have a lot of quarterbacks in this league now. A sleeper who I think has not been talked about enough. Well, I've seen personally play in the U.S. is the Reed Senate kid over at Madrid. Like,
Yeah.
not a lot of people are talking about him. That guy is really good at what he does. He's played in the highest levels in America for a reason.
Yep.
Guy's going to
Covered
be
covered
really
him at
good.
the UFL last year, a couple years or last year
Exactly.
actually. Yeah, with the
He's going to
Bravos. So
be. I think that the competition is spread out more horizontal, more even across the playing field. Yes, you still have your top greats and your bottoms of the barrels, but that gap is closing.
yeah, yeah.
You look at Haveltic mercenaries. They've got
They were a tough
dogs
team.
that they've just signed. That coaches put a nice staff together. You look
Yep.
at Prague as well. They just signed Javarian Smith. They have they have the Jasper, the O lineman. They have
Yeah.
another Ian Port O lineman. They're going to be another. They're going to win more than one game this season, like they didn't. They went 1-11 last year. They're going to win more than one game. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Last
it's a
year,
lot more even now this year.
well, I'm glad that you mentioned that because last year I had Randy Schrader on. He's now a co-owner of the Nordic Storm. He was one of my co-hosts for the summer showcase, and we were talking a lot last year about the success of Paris, the success of Madrid, and the expansion teams coming in and having that success because now we feel like it's going to drive some of these other teams to kind of make bolder, bigger moves to try to remain competitive, so they're not just getting overrun with expansion teams. And then you see what's happening with Nordic. Obviously, they're signing Jadrian Clark. They brought in, Glenn Tunga, from Rhine. So they were making some moves as well. So the success of the league, I feel like, is only going to be um, able to grow with the success of the expansion. But as long as those smaller market teams are also able to go out and try to be as competitive as possible.
Yeah,
Isaiah Weed had Cologne playing at a level that I don't think anybody expected them to play, down the stretch last year. They were hard out for the most
Yeah.
part for that team. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because I really think that this year, and then obviously bringing you in where there was a lot of talk around you for a long time, like why had you not been in the ELF, or why had the ELF not reached out to you? Now that you're here, I think that that's going to bring more eyes to this product as well. And I think it's going to help with the overall level of competition from top to bottom in this league. So I'm actually really glad you
Absolutely.
mentioned that for sure. And then obviously Jamal, he likes the smaller underdogs. He talks about Prague a lot last year, but they did bring in Ken Hike and Jalen Embry, so they
Yeah.
definitely got a nasty duo in the secondary there. All right, I'm going to wrap this up, Jalen. We've been on for about 30 minutes now, and I appreciate you again for coming out. But what I like to do is close out. Is I like to give you the floor, couple minutes. Thank whoever you want to thank. Anything you want to say for a message of any sort, anything along those lines. The floor is yours, my man. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I appreciate you for bringing me on. Really means a lot to me. I appreciate any of the media that's covered me, as far as Euroball Trail, Jason, Matt Bressington, any of those guys that have put out articles or whatever about me. I truly, 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 from the bottom of my heart, I really do appreciate the support. And, I hope that I can meet all of you guys at some point face to face. Really appreciate it. I'm excited to get going. I'm excited to be a part of this league. And, I'm looking forward to the memories that I'll create. So thank you.
Yeah, no, man, and I appreciate you coming on. I mean, I'm a little bit behind the 8 ball with some of these other guys that you mentioned, but I'm hoping to get my name up there and hopefully get Shady Sports up there with Jamal's of the world and the Matt Bressingtons as well. So I appreciate you taking the time out for a relative unknown to come on and talk some ELF action with me and talk a little bit about your career too, my man. I really do appreciate that as well.
Yeah, I
So,
appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. This was nice, man. Anytime you ever want to do it, just reach out to me. If I have the time, I'll get it going, man.
yeah, I would like to try to get you on in season if able. Maybe one of your bye weeks. Maybe if you're down for it, I'd like to try to get you on as well. Because like Sam just said, we'd love to get you back on. Maybe talk a little bit about it. Because I always try to get people back if I can in that situation as well. So again, Jaylon, I appreciate it. All the best of luck this season. I'm definitely going to be following you because I get the ELF package, cover it, run the show every year. So
nice.
Yeah, I get the package. I watch all the games. I do a show every Tuesday. So we will definitely be covering you, definitely covering Paris and your guys' step forward from moving forward from here.
Perfect.
Absolutely. Again, I appreciate you coming on. And, this is Summer Showcase. I will be back this year to cover the ELF. I'll probably start up just a little bit before the season starts. Looking for a co-host. Hopefully I can find one because I lost mine to the ELF, unsurprisingly, this year as well. So I think that's it, man. So I appreciate it, Jaylon, again, and for everybody else that's out there, all the viewers tonight, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, make sure you follow Shady Sports Network, and the ELF Summer Showcase will be back in June.
It looks like you lost another one.